Okay, I think we're live again. Yeah. Looks like it's actually working now. Oh, hey, wow, that's cool. It actually is working. Um, I take that back. Okay, hold on a second. I gotta log in. So this is round two for today. I tried to log in directly with YouTube and it wasn't working. And the reason why I was trying to log in directly with YouTube is when I did Stream Elements plugins for OBS, it wasn't working at all, and this like YouTube chat box on the side just like was not. It kept saying like I can't connect to YouTube. So I don't know what's going on. It finally at least like loaded something other than a YouTube page is broken graphic. So now it's asking me to log in, which is different. But just give me a second so I can put in my private information. Okay, should be back now. Okay. Um, Wow, it does look like it is actually working. Holy crap, that's finally. That was very annoying. And also annoying is the way the way Stream Elements embeds the chat is it just puts your whole stream into this like dock on the side inside OBS, so I can see myself and hear myself talk on like a 2 second delay, which is just I just don't get it here. That's actually the scene. So yeah. So to recap, basically this stream is supposed to be twice a week, and I review some classes that I just want to take to either sharpen or develop some skills. So it I had been taking the intro stats class with taught by Curtis Miller just to review my stats knowledge, and just finished it last Thursday. Also, I look like this right now because I just ran 3 miles and I'm tired, and perfect time to sit in for a class. And I found that the class covered about I think half the book, and I don't think the book itself is available anywhere for free. So that's a little bit annoying, but totally understandable, I guess. And there are things that I did like and did not like about the class. So I did like that there's like a good discussion around a lot of the theory, and then uh, Curtis would like actually explain some stuff kind of on the side. Um, what I didn't like was that I felt like there was too much. Um, there's maybe too much working through examples. Like, I actually do want to work on some examples with like problems and then a solution I can go through. But the way that class was set up, it was like you were learning the stuff as he walked through an example, and it was like kind of tedious. Like while I want to write some of these equations out or write some of the problems out in my own solutions, there's a lot of like I'm going to write actual math. Like here's number one plus number two, um, and then that equals this. And it was like either it felt like it was either too slow or too fast, especially when it was like, oh, so at the end of the day, you're just gonna plug this into R. Um, and we started. We didn't really cover some of the stuff that I would consider maybe more interesting. So we didn't get to like we just touched Bayes statistics, and I would say that that's a lot more interesting. So right now, I debated actually not streaming today because I wasn't sure what I would talk about because I didn't have a class lined up. And then I realized like, oh, it actually might be helpful. Like I'm going to try to find a new class that's stats based and is like a furtherance of what I was doing before. Um, in my mind, I was going to do the intro to stat learning class that's using R, but I felt like it was still too much of a leap to go from what I had did done with Curtis Miller, Curtis Miller's class, to go directly to Intro to Stat Learning, just because I'd been reviewing the Intro to Stat Learning class for like interviews and practice and stuff, And that feels a lot more like applied statistics already. And it was like, okay, there's still some like underlying theory that I could probably refresh my memory on. So I'm going to try to find something. I saw someone recommended statology, which I took like a quick look at it, and it seemed maybe a little too basic as well, because I couldn't find any example problems in there. I am curious. I think on Reddit I found this like probability, statistics, and data. It was like a recommendation if you need to go over probability theory. And wow, it actually does look like a book. That's really cool. So this is the. Uh, Let me try to load the page for you. So just move these to a new window, and then we can all look at it together. Okay. I didn't finish fixing my scenes, so I have to do the very amateur thing of tweaking my scenes midstream. So I apologize for that. Um, Whoop. Okay. So we are going to add a window. We're going to do Chrome. Yeah, that looks right. So let's shrink this down. Oh, darn. I've multiple computers, and it's a little frustrating that how is this displaying here? So it's a little frustrating because I have Power Tools installed on my laptop, and it's great. And I thought I had it installed on this desktop, and I can't trigger the fancy zones thing, which is like one of the best window management things I've ever used. So there's this page, which should help you at least do a little bit of prep um, to find some of the stuff that for either studying or if you actually want to do data science. So in here, I had seen like there's stuff on like applying to jobs and doing the interviews and stuff. I just wanted a stats class. So this is the videos. This is the video playlist as taught by the authors of the Introduction to Statistical Learning book. This is a great book, and this video series has been actually like really good, and I like seeing the personality of the authors. But I just noticed like I had opened this link earlier and thought it was just on probability theory, and now that like I am sitting down, I'm seeing like, oh, some of these things are actually clickable. Like I didn't notice that there's a hover over right here. Can you even see it? Yeah. So I didn't notice there's a hover over right here, so you can actually go to like the original book page, and I think this is actually going to be really interesting. So fresh approach using R. Wow, this is from like literally a month ago. That's cool. This book is published. If you find this free version, okay, cool. All right, so this is also still like doing stuff in R, and oh, there's a lot of R in here already. Okay, so let's say inference on the mean. Yeah, that's R code. So this syntax like looks entirely like R code to me, and I'm looking down like, yeah, that's what's it, ggplot? Yeah. Cool. Okay, so this isn't going to be great for me. I think one thing that I may start doing on these study streams is actually like build the environment, the virtual environment. I had thought about this already. There is so Introduction to Statistical Learning, which is right here, I believe. So this book is really good for interviews. There's also the elements of statistical learning, which is a lot more mathy and complicated. Um, it depends on like what level of uh, familiarity you want with the material. For a general review, I think Introduction to Statistical Learning is great. For actual like reference material, the elements of statistical learning is definitely a lot better. But these people, they are so good. It has been really cool to see them actually teach the class in that YouTube playlist. Um, and one of the things I wanted to do was uh, they made a second version, and obviously there's this online course. Um, I think this costs money. Yeah. So it costs money, I think, through edX. Oh, it's free. Okay. Well. Maybe I just sign up for this. Never mind. $150 for verified. Okay. That's if you want the certificate, which I don't know. Maybe some people do, some people don't. But having the assignments graded is kind of useful. Um, I think maybe. Interesting. I wonder at the time, especially for the second edition, there wasn't a Python version. So I don't mind R, but most of the time I'm using Python. So for me to switch languages and stuff is like very, actually pretty tedious. um, so there's like whole things on like compatibility between R and Python, and like not to uh, denigrate R. R like I'm very jealous that so many things, especially since R was used extensively in Curtis Miller's class. R looks very elegant as compared to some of the Python stuff I use, um, especially for doing just like statistics. So I wanted to actually make a version of the Introduction to Statistical Learning book, working through in Python instead. And I had tried before, and one of the complications was like, oh, what library do I actually use? Normally, I'm using scikit-learn, uh, and it turns out that is like actually not very good as a statistics calculator, because the intention is that those fall into like machine learning stacks. So sometimes I actually learned this the hard way. Um, if you want to know what the like values of the coefficients are that you generate from, say, least squares formula, like some sort of loss, you can't actually extract those, um, because like no one expected you to be able to do that. So I think there's another one that was like I was trying to find the coefficients and then the p values of each coefficient for a category, and it was like, oh, why would you ever need this? And I was like, why wouldn't you look at this? It seems important. Um, so when I looked, it said like probably try to use stats models or SciPy. So I think like I can spend more time in SciPy, which would actually be kind of interesting, um, and just go through the class. Um, Let me think. If I were to do this now, how would I do this? Uh, I don't think I have any of these things installed on my desktop, which is what I'm on right now. So I'd have to switch over entirely to my laptop, which is plugged in. Okay. I could also just start making the environment and stuff in here. And also I should see why Fancy Zone isn't working. Oh, do I not have Power Toys on here? Oh, that's disappointing. Okay. No. Okay. We're gonna take a detour. If you don't have this, you should totally get it. So um, it's a Microsoft Power Toys. So if you don't have this, this is amazing. I think they might have added something where there's like one thing that I wished. Hmm, is it via GitHub or Microsoft Store. Let's do the good old GitHub way. Although I do like how the Microsoft Store will like keep everything up to date. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I should actually. So one of the things I really like about Windows is how it handles multi-windows, like applications. um, I use a Mac for work. I have used a Mac previously, and I think that its window management is like from the 90s. I think it is terrible. I honestly think it's embarrassing when people tell me that they like in grad school, people told me that they spent money to do like get a thing that lets you do like essentially the same as Windows left and Windows right, so it like fits something exactly to half. It's like that's built into the operating system, except not in Mac. Um, so I think now it's better because there's an open source package called I think Square or Rectangle on Mac OS that I installed on my work computer. That's so much better. But by default, the window management in Mac OS is like shockingly bad. And that is a hill I will die on. But Windows does is already pretty decent. But if you've got like larger monitors with higher resolution, one of the things I found with my setup is that I think I don't really like the default 50-50 split. So especially when I have like terminal open and like Visual Studio Code, I actually prefer to have like a third and two thirds because terminal like I feel like is a lot of wasted space for a lot of what I do if I have it take half of my screen real estate. Um, and I feel like there isn't enough space if I'm writing a lot of code to have Visual Studio Code take 50% because like I'll have the File Explorer open and maybe I'll have two open code editors. What I love about fancy zones inside Power Toys is like you can actually make your own spaces and everything will fit. Okay, let me see if. Gosh, I forgot how to do this. Merge, delete, click, and drag across zones. There we go. Okay. I do not want space around the zones. Okay, perfect. So hopefully that means I have fancy zones now. Yes, cool. All right, so where am I? Okay. Sorry, I'm in what's it called? Yeah, so I highly suggest getting Power Toys and configuring fancy zones as you like is my favorite thing. And I think the one thing I wish that Windows copied over in from Mac OS is especially when you have like really high res screens, it can be somewhat easy to lose your cursor. And I love how the like most user friendly thing I've seen from Mac OS is if you don't know where your mouse cursor is, you just like you just shake it around a lot and it'll get big. And then like when you slow down, it starts shrinking back to normal size. So I wish I wish someone at Microsoft would steal that, but it apparently seems to be patented or whatever. They can't do it. But there's like a new thing. I think if you hit like Alt, oh no, if you double tap Control, it will actually make like a highlight around your cursor now, so that and show you where it is. So that I love that feature. I did it on accident before and I was like, holy crap, this is amazing. I don't know what version of Windows it came in, but it's so cool. Or yes, I'm a nerd. Whatever, it's fine. Anyway, so I've got Power Toys installed. So I'm going to go ahead and this is turning into not study session. I'm very sorry. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can basically try to see if there is a. We're going to go to the second edition Original chapter 10. Wow, I didn't realize that Keras can, or R can call to Keras. Keras deep learning in Python. That's funny. Okay. Uh, hmm. Well, sounds like I don't know how much of this you can actually read on here, um, but it looks like the second edition, the lab actually uses Torch, uh, which is very cool. And this might be inspiration to force me to go into using PyTorch. In the past, I had used TensorFlow, which is fine. I don't have a problem with it. I think that is more common to use in production. But now it's like, oh, well, if I don't have to use, like, if this is actually written for Torch, then maybe it is just better to use PyTorch. And multiple people have told me, your first problem is in using TensorFlow is installing TensorFlow. So people told me to use PyTorch in general. So yeah, I can cd. I'm gonna go into my directory, and actually, maybe this is somewhat interesting. So I will. Nope. Man, I should have just made I got lazy and I was like, for study session, I don't have to redo every scene. And it turns out like would be better if I just redid every scene. So we're going to do another window capture. And this is going to be terminal. So my actual setup is oh, does terminal not show up? Oof, that's going to be rough. Oh boy. Okay. Okay. I will figure this out. I think I had done this before on a different computer. I made a layout for I think I had to make a special setup. Hold shift key for vertical split. That's what I'm doing. There we go. Okay. So to make a special setup for this for streaming, because like I don't always want to show my entire like taskbar at the bottom. So what I can do is try to reconfigure this so that I have it scaled to 16 by 9, which I don't think I did particularly well, but that's okay. And then everything will fit in the stream window. So let's give this a try. Okay. if I do things this way, maybe I can actually do like so I'm trying to actually make like a sub desktop capture. Um, so let's try to do this, duplicate, um, study coding session. So I guess this is going to become a coding session. Oh, yeah, that looks just about as amazing as I thought it would. Where is terminal? All right, let's hide that. Okay, so what we're going to do is shrink this down. Okay, man, super sorry about this. Okay, trying to look in the little chat window to see if this is working. That is better than I expected, and it's still not perfect. Okay. All right. Well, okay. Let's try to focus on the positives here. What we're gonna do is just for now, we are going to just figure out which class we're gonna take, and then I'm going to go ahead and create these new scenes and start getting a thing working so I can actually start coding this. Yeah, sorry for I know this is like super unprofessional, but this is the hand that I have dealt myself actually, so I can't really complain. I'm surprised the terminal is not working in stream. That is weird. Okay, so what we can do is try to see if we want to take this. Yeah, so if you just want like the easiest setup and you're willing to do everything in R, I would just take this class. Like, I'll be completely honest with you. The book is free. The graded problem sets and stuff are not free, but I guess if you want to pay and get the certification, like that's totally great, and like you should actually support these two authors because they've consistently made like probably the textbook on statistical learning, and it's free, and it's such a classic that they didn't even really need to update it. I think they updated it with more advanced machine learning capabilities, but otherwise like they didn't have to. It's like pretty evergreen. And one of the authors, I think, is the original author of Lasso, like that technique. So it's really cool. The other things I was trying to see was if Free Code Camp actually had like a statistics class in here, and I kind of don't think that they don't. I kind of think that they don't. So like there's data analysis, but these look like, oh, actually, you know what? I'm not trying to say anything bad about Free Code Camp because they're great, right? Like all this stuff is free. And it's like fully spec'd out lectures and classes and stuff. Like I highly recommend if you just want to like learn new stuff and you can make yourself do it, then like these are really good. So like they have scientific computing, data analysis, machine learning. Like this is amazing. And like the responsive web design in beta, like maybe that's the second version. But like these look really cool. And actually like this algorithms and data structures class, like I legit might take this because like I don't know algorithms and data structures as well as I should. Whenever I go into Leet Code, I'm like, okay, I really got to practice. Like I'm definitely not as good at this, like these puzzles that other people are really good at. And holy shit, there's so many of these classes. Like there's so many examples. This is amazing. Okay, yeah, I highly suggest like, and if this is helping you, like especially I've listened to interviews with the founder of Free Code Camp. Like definitely contribute because like this is such a cool resource. The other ones are like W3 Schools. Like they have some stuff that's really useful. Actually, I've never actually looked at their entire list of classes. Like, what do they got here? Learn statistics. Ooh, 36 tutorial pages. Python. Okay. That is fine. How do they do most of the things? Are there problem sets? Okay. This is cool. All right. Maybe this is actually the stuff I'm looking for as like a first approximation, because they are using the stats library, which is something I was trying to figure out if I should do. All right. So this is an option. So I would, let me see if I can go back up. So, okay, first resource, this website is great. I have nothing bad to say about these people. I find that their mission is admirable, and that they actually do make some robust curricula for studying coding, really anything. Like, look at their library that's available. So I highly suggest going through there if you're really curious about learning stuff yourself. If you want to do statistics, I may actually start doing this. This looks really interesting, so I'm compiling these resources so that I can check them out once the stream ends, and figure out like which is the one I actually want to stream in the future. Otherwise, like I was looking through this, but I feel like there's not enough problems, and I kind of wouldn't mind if there was like, I'm working along with a calculator that's like either scipy.stats or stats models, or like in a it sounds bad, but in like a worst case, like using R. I just don't really want to learn a new language when I think it's just better to kind of stay in one stack. At work, like so I have this NLP project, and it's actually kind of annoying when people say like, oh, use Jensen for handling NLP. And it's like, well, Jensen's really good at doing LDA. And I think that was like the initial intent, was like doing some sort of topic modeling analysis, and it became better. But Jensen like doesn't really agree with the design principles behind scikit-learn, and it becomes a problem because like, okay, well, now I have to convert this data structure that it generates into something that integrates more with like an actual pipeline that I can do work and analyses with. So I ended up like having to drop Jensen. That kind of sucked. I spent like 2 weeks like writing code and then refactoring the code, and just trying to understand where the conflicts and stuff were. Yeah, so the other option, did I already put it in there? I think I did. This like this website, Stat Learning. Oh no. Okay, I opened the wrong web browser. So that is going to be very annoying. Yeah, okay. I'll try to close all those windows. Hopefully I get them all back. Man, I forgot this terminal thing is not working, so you just haven't seen me this whole time. Hide terminal. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay. So we will bring me back a little bit so you can see at least my desk. Yeah, so those are the things that I would suggest. You don't need to look at the forum for statistical learning. You want to actually look at the resources. And here they have the free book. The book is located somewhere. Where did they put it? Okay. Here you go. Download the second edition right there, right up front. So you can't get that. I don't know why they don't just put that in like the link under resources second edition, but it's right like their homepage is that's where you get it. And this is great. All the authors are great. The material's very cool. And look, it's also right down here. Don't get the first edition. There's nothing wrong with the first edition. It's just the second edition is like actually updated stuff, and I think they restructured some of the lectures to like make a little bit more sense. And then they talked about newer areas of focus inside statistics and machine learning. So highly recommend just getting the second edition. The only issue is that if you are doing Python primarily, like no one I believe has written a good solution set or how to code it in the second edition. I saw one GitHub repo that did it for the first, and they have not updated to account for the second edition. So I actually will probably spend the rest of the time trying to find their GitHub to see if maybe like there is a way I can go contribute some sort of like branch with Python code. Yeah, let's look that up. Intro to Stat Learning, GitHub. There we go. None of these look like the official class. Nope. None of them are the official person. Okay, so let's try. Let's try the second two authors. These are the ones that like they actually wrote the original book, I think. So let's see if Glasso. Oh, this is definitely a research labs website. Where is, man, it seems kind of weird that they don't have a GitHub. Let's see, Gareth James and Daniela Witten. Oh, why don't I just go to their actual websites? Oh, hey, UW, I'm guessing. Either that or this person's just from Seattle. Do research groups not have GitHub? Does Gareth maybe not have a website? Did it already load? No, I don't think it did. Okay. Oh, hey, congrats. You became a dean. Let's look at the forums. Okay. A month ago, there's no official solution set directly from Daniela. Okay, so that would explain why there's so many like unofficial GitHub accounts. I wonder if there is a way. I guess I'll just do what everyone else did and just create a repo. That's cool. Yeah. All right. What can I do now? Let me actually. I'm going to go back to full screen, hide Chrome, and then log into GitHub. And then we'll just start, I guess we'll just start coding. That's cool. That's why. I was like, why isn't this showing the whole thing? Okay, because I still cropped down a little bit. Whoops. All right. So we make that extend out, and then we make this bigger. Cool. Okay, so let's we are going to put that over there. We're not showing our browser anymore so that I can actually log in. And then I think I will cover my camera. I'm trying to remember what my password is. Okay. It's the handy thing of having an actual camera as a webcam for streaming. You can put a lens cap back on. GitHub. Actually, I want to just put that up for a second. We'll sign in. I don't think I remember my GitHub password anymore, to be completely honest. Doesn't seem like it. Oh, hey, finally remembered. Okay. Interest. Oh, I did have a repo for this already. How far did I get? Not very far. Okay. Let's clone this repo. Actually, I can show my camera again. So let's hide this, and then we will. Where's my camera? Oh, right. Duh. I just talked about this. Okay. So I think I'll probably have to change the license on my repo, but oh, you know what? I was taking. Dang, I totally forgot. I was taking a class using a book called Think Stats. Let me look this up. Very cool. Okay, so this is another resource. I think I was looking at this before, and I didn't use it because it was already assuming like a base level statistics familiarity, and I was like, okay, well, let's go back even further. Second edition of the book. Here, yeah, let's give you the updated link. So go there. This is another potentially useful statistics thing. So this book is available both online and as a PDF. Okay. Dang, this book is from 8 years ago. I wonder what other. Oh, there's a Think Data Structures book. I guess if you like this author, Alan Downey, then that might affect how you feel about this class. Data structures in Java. Java. Oh, that's funny. The what's it called? The data structures book is actually more has a higher review than the statistics book. Interesting. This is one of the reviews says this is just a plug for the author's own package, not that package, like Python package. Yeah, I think that's interesting. I think that reviewer is full of crap because I'm looking at like the code that's needed for this book, and it's like it's just Anaconda. So I think it's unfair to say like this person's just plugging their own own Python library, and it's like, it's Anaconda. So yeah, that reviewer can eat it. Wow, I can't believe how dumb that reviewer is. Yeah, this looks somewhat. I guess there's like specific data that has to be imported, but that's all included with uh, the code of the book. So I don't think it's really that bad. Yeah, yeah. Okay, well, I think maybe I will do Intro to Stats Learning because that is the classic one, and I think it would actually be pretty cool to make that available to open source. So let's close all these author pages. Maybe as I start writing it, I can send it back to them and just say like, hey, this is, I'm not going to charge for this. This, to me, it's open source. If you want to include it with your actual class, then we can talk about it. But I don't think it's that big of a deal. I'd rather people just like get some experience with this. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, very cool. Okay, so I've cloned that repo in cd into intro to stat learning. What do we got in here? Okay, so I might have to which Python dash dash version 310. Okay, so man, kind of sucks. So I normally I installed Python 3.10 or 3.9 on some of my computers, and then realized that not everyone, like 3.10 is actually really new, but I think the longest term support or most likely thing to get support is actually 3.8. Let's see, Python ASDF, Python list. How do I find ASDF available, list available versions? Oh, I think it's ASDF list Python. That is only what's available on my computer, list all. Okay, so I want to install Python 3.8.12. Okay, so ASDF install Python 3.8.12. I'm putting that to the terminal. That is going to take a while, just because these things always take a while, and yeah. But yeah, cool. So I guess while that's running, I think I can go over briefly like what my dev environment currently is. So I use ASDF as a Python version manager. I don't think ASDF was actually intended for Python. I think most people try to use PyEnv. And it says even first party plugins are Elixir, Erlang, Node.js, and Ruby. But people figured out how to make a Python plugin for ASDF, and I really like it. It is a lot less painful than various other things that I've tried. And how I got to using ASDF was I used to use Anaconda, and I would conda install everything. And then one of the things I liked about Conda was that it had package dependency management that seemed more robust than the pip installs. However, it was very strange. Conda, the environment YAMLs, don't always deploy on other computers. So it seemed like it kind of defeated the purpose of making YAMLs if it was like you should be able to take this repo and then conda install environment.yaml, and then everything should work. And I kept running into situations where that didn't happen. And it turns out like conda basically, when it makes the environment.yaml, it like lists literally everything that had to get installed in order for that repo to work. And that made that there's a, oh no, okay, I'm missing a library. So ASDF uninstall Python 3.8.12. I have to, let's see, apt, sudo apt. Oh yeah, so I'm using Windows Subsystem for Linux. To update, you are not gonna see my password. All right. So I needed something that would let me manage Python installations. Sudo apt upgrade. And what I ended up trying to do in moving off of Conda environments was using Poetry. And Poetry, what's really nice is that you basically just write the actual packages that you know you're using. So for a Python user, for what my projects were, I knew I was using like things like pandas and NumPy and scikit-learn. But it turns out like I don't think I technically needed to specify NumPy because pandas has NumPy listed as a dependency. But what Poetry does is when you make your markdown language file, saying like, oh, I need these things, you only specify the things that are explicit dependencies, and then it will go back and find your dependencies in the backend by itself. So the most obvious ones are like I just said with pandas, it will go and install NumPy even though you didn't specify it. But there's a major benefit in doing it this way because like my work computer is a Mac. My home computer computers are PCs, but I also run Windows Subsystem for Linux. So if I were to like install let's just say NumPy on either the PC or Windows Subsystem or Mac, they have individually different dependencies because the operating system that they're working on. So when I made Conda environments in Windows Subsystem for Linux and then tried to install them on another computer that was a PC or on Mac, it wouldn't build because it was like listing a library that wasn't working on some other architecture, and it was just like totally frustrating. So I switched to Poetry because that basically got around that whole problem, and it was like, oh, this is so much better. And combined with ASDF, you can actually specify which Python version you actually want to use, and then set individual repos locally to use different Python versions. So it was super nice and very helpful for me to get things working this way. And so far, like I've had way less problems, but I have had like right now I had an operating system problem where like for some reason SQLite wasn't installed on Windows Subsystem for Linux. So I have to like go back and figure out, yeah, I'm missing bzip2 and SQLite 3 for Python. And I wrote documentation on like why wasn't this working. But let's see. So I just did an apt update and apt upgrade. So maybe this will start working now. So let's see. Otherwise, I'd have to like explicitly state like, oh, go install bzip2 and SQLite 3 for Python 3. But we'll see what the error says. Oh wow, we're at like 54 minutes. Haven't done any studying yet. That's kind of bad. Yeah. This might be like a super short stream. I don't really like the idea of people watching me like trying to install my virtual environment. But you know what? I can. Yep, it didn't work. Okay, so ASDF uninstall Python 3.8.12, and I want to. Let's look this up. What was the actual fix? WSL BZ2 extension not compiled. There we go. I'm reading a GitHub issues right now. Not sure if you can see that, so we'll just zoom in a bit more. I'm reading GitHub issues and trying to figure out like, okay, what are the packages I need to install? And I remembered doing something like this a little while ago to try to get it to work. That's for AWS. All right, so maybe this one will work. Okay, yeah, I remember now. The solution was like, oh, common build problems, and they're basically all compiled by pyenv. Python missing zlib. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, a lot of this is looking familiar now. Okay, so I copied over something, and I'm going to put it in my terminal. It's trying to install like a bunch of crap all at once. So let's see how this works. Hopefully this won't take very long. Oh, wow, that was super fast. Okay. So now let's use ASDF to install Python 3.8.12. Hopefully this works. All right. In the meantime, what are people up to lately? I'd love to see in the chat. I personally have started getting to actually watching people on Twitch do various things. I follow some VTubers who seem super cool, and also they play games and do art. So it's really cool, actually. It's like better, in my opinion, it's more entertaining than quite a lot of like YouTube stuff I'm seeing. So yeah, it's a nice change of pace. Let's see how long I keep that up. Did this. Okay, cool. So Python 3.8.12 did install. Man, I forgot this computer is just like way faster than what I'm used to. So yeah, we want to set ASDF. We want to set the version. So let's list Python. All right, cool. So 3.8.12 is in there, and I want to make interstellar. Let's make that this one local. So it's ASDF local Python 3.8.12. Let's open our Visual Studio Code and see. Yeah, let's update Visual Studio Code. I want to see what the current Markdown file is. What the F? Sorry. Code not found. Okay. I'm gonna have to figure this part out too. I don't know what happened. WSL VS code not found. Why is it not in path anymore? Okay. Let's do nano Z shell profile or RC. Not profile. That file doesn't exist. Not RC. What the heck? Add VS Code to path WSL. Wait, are you serious? I didn't have VS Code installed on this computer. Okay, that's my fault. I really thought I had it installed on here. Whoops. Wow, that is amazing. So dumb. I can't believe I didn't have it installed on this computer. Okay. That doesn't sound, honestly, it doesn't sound right. Even though I wasn't doing like any dev on my desktop, it's like super weird that code is not here. All right, we're installing VS Code. I might take a quick break. Yeah, we're like at an hour. So I might take. Oh wow, it's 6:02. Yeah, for real, might take a break because it has been an hour, and I need to figure out what I'm doing for the rest of the evening. So yeah, at the very least, I'm gonna take a break. So I'll be back, I guess, soon, and then we'll figure out what to do after that. All right, we'll see you soon. Bye. Okay. Oh gosh. Okay. Let's go back to. Okay, we are back. Outfit change because I was a little tired of wearing like sweaty running clothes. Yeah. So where are we? We installed VS Code, so that works. I don't want that font uh, or this color scheme inside Visual Studio Code. Um, that is something to deal with. Well, okay. Let's see if we can change this. What is my preferred? Let's look at my laptop to see what. My laptop to see what terminal, not terminal, what color theme I have installed here. It's super super nitpicky, but I like my dev environment to have like certain looks to it. You know, oops, that's not what I wanted. Let's undo that. Theme. What was the theme I have on one Monokai? Okay, I think we have to install that. Cool, 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 cool. Control K, Control T. Okay, I think code is running. And then I have to source. Let's just close terminal and let it reopen. Finding out my laptop that I have like the old version of WSL installed, and I don't know how that happened, and I would really like to change the new one because the new one is actually a little bit faster. So yeah, it's kind of weird. I get that error in Visual Studio Code all the time. It's like, hey, you're using an older version of WSL, and I was like, well, I don't know why, because I'm pretty sure I installed the WSL 2. So let's I'm in main, so let's change off of that. So get branch should be poetry in it. Why does it get dash B? Oh, that's not what I wanted. Oh, crap. Man. I thought get branch dash b was the old way to like make a new branch and then move into it right away. Um, okay, I just messed stuff up, so I gotta undo that. Um, get branch dash m main. Okay, get branch. Okay. Wow, that was very weird. Oh gosh, I think I just installed a new version of Git, and I don't remember how to change branches anymore. Um, Git documentation. I remember reading that they were thinking of renaming some of the commands because like it used to be git branch dash b I think was create and make a new branch and move into it in the same line of command, and it was like that's kind of an odd um, um, command. So now it's I think they talked about like oh but the default behavior is going to change, but it's a little confusing. Okay, switch. The new one is switch. Okay. Um, oh man, this is gonna take a while to change over. Okay, so get switch dash c switches to the specified branch and updates the working directory. Okay. Okay. That honestly makes way more sense. It's just my brain is so used to like doing 2 years, over 2 years of git branch. So git switch dash c poetry init. Okay, yeah, that makes sense now. Okay, so code dot, does that work? Yes. Code is on path, and is it going to give me the same error of you're in Visual Studio 1 or WSL 1? Hopefully not, because that wouldn't make any sense. Okay, so let me see if I can add this window. VS Code. Yep, perfect. Not perfect. That is actually really annoying. Okay, so this is a poetry ML file. So it's like markup language. And I just put in like super basic stuff. So Python, Jupyter, JupyterLab, NumPy, scikit-learn. I'm going to need SciPy. So I'm going to actually break out of this and then add that back in here. And I think as a dev dependency, I'm going to add click and also, but I don't really need click, but lint, pylint. So I'll close. Well, okay, let me. I I know I could remember these in the order in which they came and then install them in the proper order, but I keep forgetting to do that. So I get nitpicky about this, where like I just want them in alphabetical order. Okay, yeah, that works. Okay, it does bother me a little bit. I know it shouldn't, but it does. Poetry, add SciPy. Poetry shell. Do I not have poetry installed on here? Oh my gosh. Okay. Um, Poetry Python. Oh, I can't believe that this desktop didn't have all my stuff installed. That's so frustrating. um, I don't know why it does this. Okay, so we are on one, I don't know why it's still called master branch, and two, we should be on poetry, not 1.1. 1.1 is the older one. Yeah, okay. So we are going to go back into Visual Studio Code. I'm going to install this. Ooh, feeling pretty sore. Poetry dash dash version. And then I think I need to add poetry to path. I do want tab completion, so that's where this is going to come in. Nano Z shell RC. Actually, let's do these first. And then we are going to nano tilde z slash dot z shell zz zshrc. And we're going to add the plugin. Oh, I forgot mouse doesn't work in nano. All right, scrolling down. Actually, what can you even see right now? You're seeing bare Visual Studio Code. Okay. Let's hide that for a second. You can only see Chrome because that's the thing I'm working on right now. Plugins, ESDF, and what is the thing we're trying to add? Poetry. Poetry. Control X, save, yes. And then we have to probably source slash dot zshrc. Cool. Poetry, add SciPy. Okay. I love poetry, except it does this thing where when it has these like unusual conventions for designating versions. And one of the things that drives me a little bit nuts is like you can say it's caret, like the up arrow. When you do that, it basically says like you can pick that version or higher, and not everyone follows that same convention. So like it is actually really annoying when it right now SciPy has this error that's like you can't use caret 3.10 because SciPy doesn't support like version 4.0 for Python. And it's like, well, yeah, of course that like doesn't exist. It's not even on the roadmap. So like it is kind of annoying when it's like it's just like tedious to go back in and then like rewrite the thing that they're trying to say. Okay, so what is the black can't use what on earth? Oh, should be greater than or equal to 3.8. That's my mistake. Greater than or equal to 3.8 for the Python version because I'm using Python 3.8. And black is a package that lets you like it just formats your Python scripts, and it's like no nonsense, and it's very nice because if you do that, and and your coworkers all do it, there's no arguing over formatting. You just write code, and then it will automatically transform everything for you. Um, yeah. Okay. Cool. Now everything's installing. Oh, I forgot to add Pylon. Okay. So, well, actually, that makes sense. It's trying to install SciPy, and then it's resolving the dependencies, so it's like 30 seconds in. Let me see. How far are we in on this stream? We are an hour and a half in, and right now we're just watching some progress bars go, as you can probably see. Oh gosh. You can see here. So this is fun. Yeah. So it's cool to actually see it going, in my opinion, just because it's like, oh, this is actually working. So it's updating the TOML that I made, and it's writing and installing to this virtual environment, and it's already done. Okay, cool. Wow, that was fast. So I need to also add poetry, add Pylint, which is a thing that is required in the Google style sheets. So I'm going to add that and then move it to the dependencies section instead of the dev dependencies section, because like it's not actually necessary for the project to work. It's just nice for developers. So I'll copy paste or cut and paste. Yeah, and there is a command to put it directly into the dev dependencies group in Poetry. I don't remember what it is, and they kind of changed it. So like starting with like 1.12, I think the next, or 1.2, the next version of Poetry, the command is broken. So I had like followed the documentation, and then it wasn't working, and I was like, this is really weird. And then I realized that it was because their documentation doesn't match what they're actually shipping as a product. So yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, it sounds really like I'm annoyed that some of the stuff isn't working perfectly with Poetry, but it is really nice, and I would say it is a step up from what it was before. So I just wish that like they had thought about code comments and documentation like a little bit more than they seem to have, or they spent more time working on the documentation. But I think that's like honestly, it's a pretty common complaint with developers. Like it's not always fun to work on the docs. Yeah, okay, so we've got git status. We've got a modified pyproject.toml and then an added poetry lock. So both of those will have to get added to the poetry init. Is there anything else I want to add into this dependency, or into this virtual environment? Jupyter Lab, SciPy, PyArrow, maybe Feather if I decide to send things over to R, but probably not. I don't think I would want to do that. PyTorch. It sounds like I will need PyTorch. So let's see. Oh, that's actually really exciting. I've never installed PyTorch, to be honest. Like I've always used TensorFlow. Oh man, I'm like actually pretty excited. So let's see and now that I think about it, so let me see if I've got the window open. So there was a Reddit post talking about how maybe it was in R machine learning, PyTorch. So Facebook/Meta does a lot of things horribly, and then they do some things like really amazingly, and they're one of the major contributors for PyTorch. And apparently the PyTorch like library and conference is amazing. So it just kind of sucks that like the company in general is like really not like that great of a place. I think it's R machine learning. And I don't know, I've interviewed at Facebook. I didn't pass, but it was super interesting that their principles of being fully transparent, like they have corporate mission statements saying like the important things for them are being totally transparent, and that like sharing knowledge ultimately leads to better decisions. It's super weird because as an applicant there, it seemed like they were totally willing to talk me through a bunch of their stuff in terms of my process, but then they don't seem to treat users of their platforms the same way, and it's like, wow, this is like super weird. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I personally feel like if I could get a job at Meta, I might actually take it. Um, just because like they are actually doing very cool things, and it seems like engineers and stuff, like they're actually very good people who are trying very hard at a difficult job. Um, and that's all I'm going to say about that. um, yeah, so I'm trying to find ooh, author of machine learning with PyTorch and scikit-learn. Get some water. I'm trying to read this person author's response. Man, I'm very excited to do this stuff. So the reason why I'm on Reddit, I'm trying to find the link to the conference because they actually had a lot of like these are good uh, resources on how to use PyTorch, and they have like apparently like really excellent tutorials and stuff to get people on board, versus like TensorFlow as of like 2 years ago, I think 2 or 3 years ago, their documentation was honestly like really bad. Um, and they've spent a lot of time making the documentation better, but I think there's just a fundamental thing of like PyTorch is like because was designed to work with Python, it just looks a little bit more elegant and it's a little bit easier to use. Um, the the trade off is like TensorFlow has been around since like I don't know 2011 maybe, I don't even remember, but it's just like uh, there's just tons of like ooh uh, developer support and it's in production and et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, trying to find the um, the conference where they talk about PyTorch. Oh man, Hugging Face works with PyTorch. Highlights of PyTorch ecosystem. Yeah, this is it. This is the ecosystem day. They like talk about a bunch of stuff that's like relevant to PyTorch. Ooh, PyTorch development VS Code. Um, dang. Okay. This is really cool. So I mean, I think this is. Whoops. I think this is a really helpful resource. I will also put this in the chat. Um, and it's just like stuff helps getting people on board with PyTorch. And of course, there's the base documentation. Let's just get started, and you can get that here. What time is it? Wow, it's 6:30. Okay. So I've been streaming for an hour and 42 minutes. Just rolled over into an hour and 42 minutes. Hey, computer only 96 drop frames. That's very different. Um, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to actually just hey, I'll just start locally. So Anaconda is a recommended package manager since it installs all dependencies. Install previous versions of PyTorch. libtorch is only available for C++. So I want the stable Linux version because I'm on Windows subsystem for Linux. Oh boy. Let's do poetry add PyTorch and see how well that works because they do not have PyTorch instructions. And I also don't. How do I get. Oh boy. This is going to be interesting. So I have an NVIDIA GPU in this computer. Is a 3070. I love this computer. I just am not sure how well WSL plays with CUDA. So let's see, WSL, CUDA, and this is like all brand new stuff. When I first started using WSL, CUDA was not a thing you actually did, because it just wasn't working. WSL didn't call towards the graphics card. This is like a fairly recent development, is that they got it working. Um, but because it was only recently, I like don't really know how to do this. So this is gonna be totally new to me. Um, Download, install, game ready, or does it have to be game ready? It can't be. I have the creator version of uh, NVIDIA drivers. Interesting. Okay, so they have a. I don't have CUDA. I have RTX. Um, Not RTX Quadro. So that's GeForce 3000 series, 3070, not TI, Windows 10 64 bits. This is a little confusing. Why does it have to be game ready? Okay. Are you looking? Yeah, you're looking at the same page I am. Okay. Um, Also, I really want a second monitor. This 27-inch monitor has been great. I actually just rented on this not too long ago, but this monitor is from 2008 and it weighs like 20 something pounds. And the arms holding the monitor up like kind of struggle with it. So I really just want like a second monitor and like maybe replace this one or mount this one where this laptop tray currently is, but is not being fully utilized. Yeah, like this monitor has like one display port, and I think it's port 1.2, and there's two DVI, but the DVI are like really finicky, so they're like dual link, so the card has to support dual link, otherwise it won't do the full resolution. It's quite annoying. Like regular DVI cables cost like I don't know, like $7 or something for like a 3 foot cable, and like the dual link one is like way more expensive, and they're much harder to find, especially to get adapters for. So yeah, it's just like super annoying. But I don't understand. It's not saying anything about yeah, like this came out. Oh man, almost 2 years ago. This came out, but I don't see anything about if you need a game ready versus studio driver. So CUDA WSL studio driver. Saw the GPU driver. Like I don't have a Titan. I just want CUDA. And even Microsoft's page is not very clear about this. Um, Okay, let me also, it looks like I have to do something in PowerShell. I need a Linux kernel 5.10 or higher. 5.10.43. So I don't have that. So I have to update my kernel. Windows update. I checked Windows Update just now to see if I can follow along with these instructions. Very funny. So this study session has gone way off the rails. Just to set up something for the next stream, essentially. And I have a major device update to install. So I think that makes this a perfect time to end stream, and I will figure this out off camera. Maybe give a summary on an actual stream, because I am thinking about starting my actual coding streams again. But maybe get that going and then come back to this in 2 days, I guess. So yeah, this has been pretty fun, actually, despite all the little annoyances. And it's nice. I feel like I'm making progress, even though it's not necessarily the most productive day trying to chase documentation and stuff. So I'm going to stop the stream, get this hopefully working, and then I will check in with y'all later. So yeah. My name's Aaron again. I would love to hear if you have recommendations for other streamers that are doing either study accountability, which is actually the focus of this stream, or coders. So excuse me. I normally on Twitch I follow Nick Wan, who is a data scientist he's the chief data analytics person, I think, at the Cincinnati Reds. And Twitch has honestly like a lot more streamers, and this is the kind of stuff that I would actually prefer to have on Twitch for various reasons. Like one being YouTube for study sessions seems, based off of Tina's page, is like a little bit more chill. So like if you are actually going to study, like it's not as expected to respond to chat and stuff, and you're just like hanging out with each other studying. But for like actual coding stuff, it seems like there's a lot of engagement still with chat, and I'd rather, like, for studying, just kind of focus on studying. For this kind of stuff where I'm like trying to show like this is the process I'm working through, like honestly this would be the kind of stuff I put on Twitch for a stream for coding. But yeah, so with all that being said, I'm gonna sign off. If you have any streamers that you love, just send them to me. I want to check them out. And I'm working on a site where I can actually like compile like, oh, these people are all great, and check out the recordings, etc., etc. Yeah. So until next time, I hope you have a great day, great night, and that you get some cool stuff done. Yeah. All right. I'll check in later.